Hello and welcome back. In this video we are going to add data persistency into our pizza dough. What I mean by data persistency is if I simply reload my entire application once, you may observe that after reloading our entire application for one time, you shall be seeing the following splash screen, and once the following splash screen shall be completed, we will be seeing nothing but a login page. Instead of watching the following login page, the user shall be seeing the home page. Let me tell you about all the particular objectives of our today's video. So as I told before, the first objective will be nothing but storing the dynamic value of the user. The second one to be adding Firebase authentication cases through which if the user has entered a wrong password, if the current user does not exist under our Firebase, else if the user has entered a wrong email, we shall be showing up all the errors. The third objective of our today's video is adding a delete functionality under my cart through which the user shall be deleting all the following items that he has purchased. So with that said, if you are with me and if you are following up through my previous tutorial, we are good to go. So according to our first objective, we can simply move under our puppet.yaml file, which is downward here, and you shall be simply getting a following dependency of shared preferences. Shared preferences shall be helping us in storing up dynamic data of the user, and for today's video, the dynamic data will be nothing but the user ID of the following user. So once we have gotten the following dependency of shared preferences, so we can simply move under providers for authentication, and under this file you may observe that here we are simply fetching up the user ID of the following user under the user class under both cases of login into account and create new account. So according to our today's objective, we can simply store a new instance of the shared preferences itself. So for that you can simply do one thing, that is create a new instance of shared preferences. Let's name it the object instance to be shared preferences, and under this we can be simply awaiting for shared preferences instance. So once we are getting up the instance, we can simply perform all of the actions, and under the shared preferences you can simply write the following data. So to write a particular data under shared preferences, you need to be working with key and value. Now the key shall be unique into our overall Flutter application, and the value shall be the data that we are going to be persisting. Now what I mean by that is, if I simply add shared preferences dot set any type of value, that is I can simply set a boolean, double, integer, string and string list. So according to our need, here we will be simply taking up set string. So under the key and value, here I can simply provide a value of UID itself, not value but the key. So under the value I can simply provide here the UID itself. So here I can simply get the UID once, but here instead of writing the code at this side, I can remove it from there and paste it here. So once we have done this, format document once. So after simply setting up the string of the user ID to the user ID, we can perform the same steps under creating a new account. So for that I can simply copy this and paste it here, and same thing goes for our object instance of our shared preferences. So once we have done the following changes, we can simply go under our splash screen. So under our splash screen, we will be simply creating a new method for reading all the data. So let me do one thing, that is increase the font of our VS Code itself. So here you may observe that we are getting all of our method here, which is of init state, from which we are simply navigating to our next screen. First thing first, I will be simply doing one thing, that is create a new future method. Let's name it get user ID. So under this future method, let's make it asynchronous first. So here under our future method, I can simply say a new shared preferences instance, the same usual stuff. Let's make it under the state of awaiting. So once we have done this, the next step shall be simply shared preferences dot get string, that is our user ID. So under this user ID, I will simply pasting the user ID, which is nothing but UID. So now instead of assigning the particular value here, I will be simply doing one thing, that is create a global string to be the user ID itself. Alrighty. Now instead of user ID, let's name it to user UID. Cool. So once we have done that, I can simply assert the value of user UID to be the following shared preferences thing. Alright. So once we have done this, let's print it up our user ID. Once our future method is completed, we can simply remove the entire timer from here. And instead of that, here I will be simply writing get UID dot when completed. As the following future method shall be completed, I will be simply pasting up the entire timer here. So under our timer, instead of having a child to be login, I will be simply putting here a ternary operator. So what I mean by a ternary operator is, here if I simply assert if the user UID if it is null. Alright, login. So if the following user ID shall be null, we shall be navigated to our login screen, else we will be simply navigated to our home screen. Alright, let's import it once. So now let's test it up. So for testing it up, I can simply reload my entire application once. Now as the user ID of the following string is null, we are simply navigated to our home screen. So simply log in under our application one more time. Alright, let me paste my password, which is nothing but Abhishek. Cool, so let's log in under our application. Let's check our debug console whether we are getting our user ID or not. So here I will be simply logging one more time. Alright, so here we are simply getting our user ID key, which is 2YL something long thing. Cool, so now we are navigated to our home screen, which is our favorite dishes one and everything. So now let's do one thing, that is reload our entire application once to check whether we have successfully accomplished our thing or not. Did you observe that instead of navigating to our login page, we are now simply navigating to our home screen? That is, now we are successfully navigating to our home screen instead of simply logging in time to time. So in this way we have successfully implemented a shared preferences thing under our Pizzato. Now according to our second objective of our today's video is about assigning cases over our authentication under our Firebase. So to do that, first of all we need to simply sign out from our application, and here the sign out key will be nothing but simply removing our user ID key, which is UID. So to do that we can simply go under our home page. Cool, so here under this app bar, let's go to definition. So under our app bar we have here two buttons of this login person one, where it is. Alright, so here it is. So here under this button we can simply add the following key so that the following user ID shall be deleted, which is our UID key. So to do that, first of all we will be simply getting a new instance of shared preferences. Let's say a shared preferences. I can simply add a shared preferences dot remove key. Now the key shall be nothing but the UID itself. Cool, so once the following thing is completed, I can simply navigate the user to the next screen. So for that I will be simply right here as the navigator one more time. So here under this navigator, let's assign the following dependencies. Now here instead of having a home screen, I will be simply having a login screen. Easy as that. So now let's try logging out, but instead of this, let's remove the following icon from here. Cool, so now for now this shall be enough for us. Let's check our debug console by clearing it once. Cool, so now we are navigated back. Let's reload our entire application once. Cool, so now we are successfully navigating to our home screen once the user is logged out. So under our today's second objective, which is about getting up all the use cases of a password not found and etc. Let's move under our authentication tab. Now here you may observe that here we have simply two different methods for login account and creating new account. So first thing first, I will be simply remove everything from here and paste the following thing under a try block. So let's paste everything under a try block. So after having this try block, let's have a catch block, which will be simply taking up the value of e. So here under this catch block, we will be simply taking all of the key errors that Firebase authentication shall be providing to us. So first of all, if you simply check our login once, here if I simply log in with any sort of password, and now instead of typing my actual password, I will be typing here anything. Now here if I simply log in one more time, you may observe that we are getting a platform exception error here, and here under the entire case you may observe we are simply getting two different values, that is three different values. The first one for the code, second one for additional data if available, third one for the message. Now here we can simply do one thing, that is catch up the code from here. So for that, here I will simply take up a new switch case. So under this switch case I will be simply writing switch e.code. So under the following switch case, I will be simply pasting up the each and every possible code, that is user not found, password not found and any other cases, so that after throwing up a platform exception error, we can show the user about that he has not entered a right password or his email is not a correct one. So for that, let's move under authentication tab, and here I will be simply pasting up entire code that is entire code which platform exception error shall be giving to me. But first thing first, let's move at the top of our authentication class, and here I will be simply writing a new string. Let's say error message. So here I will be simply write a getter for it. So here let's have a new getter for get error message, which shall be simply arrow functioning into the error message itself. So here let's paste up entire code. So these are all the use cases for the login one. First one for user not found, if the user has entered any wrong email. Second one for the wrong password, and third one for invalid email. So these are all the following use cases, and these are following the error message that we shall be showing up to the user. So format document once, and same thing goes for our create new method. So let's copy everything from here, paste it under a try block. After completing a try block, let's have a catch block, same thing, and here let's have a switch statement which shall be simply carrying up e.code, and these shall be the entire cases for our sign up option, which is invalid email or account exists with different credentials. Now once the following thing is done, you can simply take the getter of the following get error message, that is error message, move under our login screen, and here you may observe we have a column here under our login sheet. So here under our login sheet we can be showing up to different text. So here I will be simply having a new text of the following error message, but here instead of writing just an error message, I will be simply writing here provider dot of authentication, and I will be simply listening up to the value because we are simply rendering up my entire UI. So once we are simply get our error message, let's have somewhat styling to it, having a color of color dot white. Let's have a font weight to it, a font weight of bold. So once we have done this, let's copy the entire text and paste it under our sign up tab. Now let's do one thing, that is simply give somewhat default value to our authentication tab, that is to our error message, which shall be empty, not a null one. So once we have done this, let's load our entire application once. So now let's try it out. Let's open our debug console. So here you may observe I will be simply writing here my email, which is not Bhishek but Abhishek, and here let's have somewhat fake password. Cool. Let's clear our debug console whether we are simply getting our message of user not of wrong password one, which is this one of wrong password case. Alright, so the trigger is optimized of platform exception error, and here you can see we are getting our user not found exception, but you may observe that we are now simply navigating to our next one. So to optimize it properly, let's go under our authentication tab. Now here I will be simply changing it to dynamic, and here let's make it null for now. So here I will be simply catching up my dynamic error message. Cool. So once we are navigating to our next screen, which is here, I can simply copy the entire navigator, and here let's assign a new if statement. Here I will be simply assigning up if the value of our error message exists or not by typing here authentication. Here I will be simply listening up to entire values. Let's get an error message. If the following error message is not equal to null, we will be simply navigating to our next screen, else we shall be navigated to our same screen one more time of login itself. Now as we have done this under our login sheet, we can simply copy the entire thing from here and paste it under our sign in sheet instead of having just a common transition, that is navigation. Cool. So let's load our entire application once. Let's log in. Alright, so as I said before, a non-null string must be provided here. So as we have done this, I will be simply writing here my entire email, which is abhishek@gmail.com. Alright, he is not one, which is just a B. So here let's make a somewhat changes under our login. Now as you may see that we can't provide here a null value but just an empty value. So here under our login screen, here we are simply getting up if error message. If it is empty, that is if it is not empty, that is if the following value of get error message will be empty, that it shall not contain any error, we shall be simply navigate the user to our home screen. Else if it contains not the following thing of error, that is empty space but somewhat error, which shall be optimized under our debug console, we shall be simply navigating to the user to our original page of login. So here instead of else, I'll be simply having one more if statement. So let's copy this, paste it here, just add a not condition here, easy as that. So once we have done this, let's load our entire application once. I know backend is a very hectic work, but we have to do this. So let's log in. Let's provide here a different password. Let's log in. Under our debug console, let's check it up. Alright, so we have a wrong password here. Oops, a wrong password as I said before. Now you may observe that we are not navigating to our next screen and we shall be seeing up our entire error message here, which is oops, a wrong password. So now let's fill up a right password. Alright, abhi@gmail.com and my right password of Abhishek. Alright, so now we are navigated to our home screen after simply assigning a dynamic assertion of the user ID, also checking up all the password not found and all the cases. So the third objective of our today's video is doing nothing but simply deleting up the value of the following cart. So for that I can simply go under my pepperoni garlic one. Here I can simply select up my entire thing. Alright, let's increase the counter. Alright, the new data is inserted as we have implemented the following functionality in our previous video. So if you haven't checked my previous video, please go definitely check out that one, which is about nothing but logic about our my cart. Now under my cart here we are simply having here our pepperoni garlic, which we have currently selected up. So now instead of this, first of all let's check up our Google Maps. So into our previous video, if you simply check our Google Maps page, which is under our mini views, here I have done nothing but simply added a following container here under the following position, which will be simply taking up the entire address that we were simply printing up under our debug console. So instead of printing up the entire address under our debug console, we can simply show the user about the address that he has selected. So here after pressing out the following thing, you may observe that the following value will be changing. So let's do one thing, that is simply increase the height of our entire container. Let's make it of 80. Alright, so let's make it of 720. So now let's check up this address. So we are this address here, let's check this one. Alright, so value under the following address will be changing. So in this way we have simply converted the following thing. So before that let's declare somewhat a single marker here. So for that we can simply go under maps, under not providers but services. There are a lot of screens. So here you may observe that we are simply printing up the entire address, that is on tapping over them under on tap. So for that I can simply remove the entire string from here. Let's have a marker tab. So here markers, if they are null, we will be simply taking up the entire markers, else we will be simply clearing up the entire markers. So the value are changing, which is a good one thing from here. Now I am just showing to you this thing because we have simply implemented the following thing in our previous video. So let's do one thing, that is simply change the color of our icon here of white one, so we won't be confused. So let's navigate back. Alrighty, so let's check this address and go back. So we have our address here of the following thing. So now let's do one thing, that is simply delete the entire our card data here. So for deleting that we can simply go under our manage data method, which is here, and here after having the following submit data we will have one more method for simply deleting up the entire values. So here I will be simply letting future delete data. It will be taking nothing but a build context. So under and following delete data method we can simply return the instance of Firebase Firestore, our used to thing, and from here let's check up our collection of my orders itself. From here we will be simply taking up the entire doc. So if you observe under our submit data we are simply taking up the provider's UID, but under our today's video we have simply changed the following thing, that after reloading our entire application once, we won't be getting the following user ID but the user ID of the following shared preferences thing. If I show to you, if I simply go under my splash screen, we are simply taking up our entire work with the following user ID but not the user ID from the authentication tab, which I show to you, which will be under this. Now there shall be two main differences in getting up the user ID. So we shall be taking the help from the following user ID once the user is logged in for a new time, that is he has just signed in. Else we will be simply taking up the user ID from our previous method, which will be under from our login screen, that is from our splash screen of the following user ID. So to make it a clear one, we can simply go under our manage data, and here we will be simply taking up the following thing, paste it here. So under the doc we can simply expand it one more time. So here I will be simply checking if the following user ID is null or not. So if the following user ID shall be null, I will be simply taking up the help from the user ID itself, which is a global key one. if the following user ID is not null, we can be simply taking up the help from the following user ID, which is getUID itself. So once we have simply asserted a doc condition over our user key IDs, we will be simply taking up the help from delete tab. Alright, so once the following thing is done, we can simply copy the entire method. Alright, let's delete the entire tabs. There are so many of them. So let's move under our my cart. And here you may observe we have two buttons under our app bar. So we shall be taking up the help from our delete one. So here I will be simply writing provider dot off, and from the calculations, not calculation but from manage data method. Alright, let's import it once. So here I will be simply listening to false, and from here I will be simply taking delete data. Cool, so let's check it once. After deleting this, you may observe that nothing is happening for now. So let's check our debug console here, which is the entire good thing. So here let's check whether if we are getting our user key or not. So let's go under our placeholder one, that is our default floating action button, and here let's print out our enter user ID, that is user UID. Alright, just not this thing but printing up. So now after tapping over it, you may observe that our user ID, that is our user ID is null. So let's do one thing, that is simply load our entire application once. Let's check it up. Alright, so the following thing is done, and here instead of this we will be simply asserting our new condition. So for that I can simply go up at our assertion of delete method under our this tab. So I can simply copy this. Let's go down, let's import everything. I know this may be hectic but we have to do this. I will simply print out our user ID. Let's import it. Cool. Else we will be simply printing up our user ID itself. Let's check this once. Alright, so you may observe we are getting our user ID key here. But to make it helpful, let's copy this entire thing from here. And here we are getting shared UID to be UID. Now let's check it up from where we are getting our user UID. Alright, so we are getting our user UID from nothing but our entire provider class of our authentication. It is working on that thing as well. So we can simply move under our here. Now here you may observe we are getting our doc here. So now let's move up, delete this from here. You may observe that we are now simply deleting our entire data. So in this way you can simply delete your entire card data. So now let's fill up our entire card data one more time. So I will simply select this one. Let's add to cart. Oops, let's select a new size one. Let's add this, this and this. Add to cart. Already the counter is increased. So in this way you can simply perform your delete operations using the following logic of our provider's UID, cause the user ID is very necessary in case you are simply deleting the user ID from a particular data. So in this way we have simply conducted our third objective of our today's video. Now we have completed almost everything which will be necessary under our Pizza 2, that is simply data persistencing and everything. So the next objective of our video will be nothing but simply taking up a payment gateway, which we will be simply doing in our next tutorial. So if you have loved this tutorial about creating a user persistency under our Pizza 2, also getting up a logic over how to manage up your authentication tab, which I show to you is under my authentication, which is nothing but about the switch cases. Also how to read a data from your Cloud Firestore, which will be nothing but for the following delete data method. So I hope you have loved this tutorial about simply taking up the entire Pizza 2 thing to a next level. So with that said, if you have loved this tutorial, kindly hit that like button. Also comment down all of your doubts that may be occurred while implementing the following stuff of data persistency with the help of shared persistence. Also checking up the alter cases of your Firebase authentication. Also deleting up your entire data, matching up with your UID. So I will see you in the next one, which shall be the last episode of our Pizza 2, which will be nothing but adding a payment gateway. So with that said, I will see you in the next one with another great video. Goodbye.